Hey, how's it going, guys? It's time for some more Season 4 discussion, but now we're going to be talking about some of the characters here. Joining me with this is Sonic Soul. What's going on, buddy?
What up, guys?
And the first character we're going to talk about is Nash. Of course, Nash. This character has been going through a ton of changes since Season 1. He's one of the original characters, and it seems like he's not quite what he used to be, ever since the initial big nerfs of Season 1. So, Sonic, I know you're a huge dedicated Nash player. There's not so many of you guys left, actually. And if Capcom doesn't get this character figured out soon by Season 4, there might be none left. Nash is always, I'd say a lot of people would agree, he's around the mid-tier range of this character. But let's rewind a bit here, Sonic, and just go through us really quickly on what he was like in Season 1 and what they took away from him that hurt him so bad.
Okay, so guys, if you basically know already, Infiltration and a bunch of other players, Li Joe, Yukadon at the time, Fujimura now, they all played Nash in a very zony kind of way. Especially Infiltration in particular, he would just backdash and forward dash a lot. Right. Just use his mobility in ways where he would just hit and run with the opponent and just again zone when he has to, because for the large part, Nash would just keep you out. And he had a really good anti-air EX Scythe, which he still does, but he also had the ability to move around very fast. And the forward dash was very deceptive because of the animation of it and because of the input delay in the game at the time, because it was 8 frames of input delay.
Right. And
this made it hard to react to Nash when he did decide to move forward to just hit you, right? Couple this with the fact that his V reversal also put him so far away from you on defense. He was literally almost at mid-screen if he was in the corner with his V reversal. And his medium kick scythe, which was probably the biggest thing that everybody complained about, had so much pushback on both block and hit. If you got hit by that, it was done. And most people, I remember Li Joe also did it too on cross counter. He would basically do MK scythe, do crouch short, backdash, and then do another MK scythe.
That's insane, man. That's so much pushback.
It was that cheap. Yeah. So it's just the point is, Nash was a very zoning heavy character. Right. Before Gal was even in the game.
That's right.
So what they did to make sure that when Gal was released there wouldn't be clone characters, because that's what Capcom wanted to prevent, was clone characters.
Right, he's not even a charge character.
Exactly. He's a motion character now. So what they did, and these are some of the major nerfs. I'm not going to cover every one, but the major nerfs were, of course, to his backdash and forward dash. His dash mobility was severely nerfed in the sense that it went from 17 frames to 19 frames for his forward dash, along with the adjustment on the animation.
Yeah, because it was technically 9 frames. You couldn't even see that dash, man.
So not only was there 8-frame delay, but his forward dash moved forward on the 8th frame. You visually saw him move forward frame 8. So good luck reacting to it.
To give you guys perspective, Ken's forward dash right now is 15 frames.
Yes.
And in Season 1, Nash's forward dash technically was 9. Just think about that for a second. How fast Ken's dash is. 15. And Nash's was technically 9. So you can imagine how ridiculous this was.
Yes. So couple that with, again, the input delay. They actually reduced the input delay for Season 2 from 6 frames to 8 frames. I mean, from 8 frames to 6 frames. But that was I guess a mid-season patch, because I remember that was around Brooklyn Beatdown when Infiltration fought Brolinho. But anyway, basically, now it made it easier to react to Nash's forward dash. His backdash, they nerfed the distance where it moved, not really the speed. So it doesn't really move anywhere. His backdash doesn't move as far. And another big change was to his V-Trigger 1. So his V-Trigger 1, people usually did it on Wake Up because it was invincible on frame 2. So they could just use it to get out the corner if the opponent didn't time their frame 1 meeting.
It was like a ghetto reversal,
essentially. So they made it invincible at frame 4 now instead of frame 2. So you could definitely meaty him on the startup of it. Also, another slight thing is that you used to be able to reset people. If you guys know Ixion, for instance, Ixion made a EX Moonsault mix-up where he was able to reset with EX Boom. So he would do EX Boom, V Trigger, and then EX Moonsault, and it would actually cause a reset. And it was just ridiculous. Like, I think that's how it went, but I don't want to cover too much. But it's essentially ambiguous. And now they made it to where his V Trigger 1 had a lot of slowdown instead of a screen freeze.
Right.
So it made it easier to react to that mix-up as well.
Right.
The point is that they nerfed a lot of things regarding Nash's mobility, and also his MK scythe had a huge amount of its pushback reduced. So now you couldn't just use it to just keep people away anymore.
Right.
So yeah, those were basically
what, like, the way Capcom designed Nash when they first made this game. Like, they had an idea of them because they wanted to make him different than Guile, right? They wanted him to be like this rushed down version of the character without using charge motions, right? But the way he ended up being played was like his moveset was, they took advantage of it and they exploited it, right? Especially infiltration. And Capcom said that the way pro players were playing Nash was completely not what they intended. Like, it was
Combo
insane.
Fiend said that, yeah.
Right. It was completely unintended. So they had to just change the character in such a way to make it more about what they imagined the character would play like. So there's been a lot of adjustments since, and that's why Nash is one of the most changed characters in the game since Season 1. So let's fast forward a bit now, Sonic. Where has Capcom taken Nash now? Like, what kind of character do they want him to be, and what have they done to do that?
Well, I remember in the Season 2.5 changes that they said that they didn't want Nash to be exactly like Guile. They wanted Nash to be his own thing.
Right.
They wanted him to be the offensive counterpart to Guile. So
even though Guile is the offensive counterpart.
I don't even want to, like, that's why I was just moving forward, because we already know Guile has +2 Sonic Boom.
I know, right?
I don't even want to go there.
I know, let's not go there. Let's stick with Nash here.
Anyway, so thing is, right, they decided to make his back medium kick plus on block now. It used to be, I think, 0, but now it became +2 on block, meaning that his pressure, he could do 2 back medium kicks.
That's good.
It's a 5-frame normal. So he could essentially frame trap with that too. Not to mention, a lot of his frame traps, you could use crouching medium punch into back MK.
Yeah.
And because you're +2, you know, they still have to hold that. And you can also walk forward for the throw. So that created a little bit of the mix-up game.
Just an excellent tool. Yeah. Pressure
tool. And it's like you can meaty with it as well. And because of the active frames of it, as well as the plus frames on it now, because they also changed it on hit to be +4.
Yeah.
So you could link jab afterwards. But because if you meaty it, you could make it like up to even +8. So it's just a strong normal for offense that was given to him, and I think that's one of the biggest buffs that he got, next to like crouching medium kick cancel V trigger, which he never had in Season 1. In Season 2 onward, they started making it to where you could cancel crouching medium kick into V trigger 1, the grounded version,
right?
And you could be +4. And ever since, they increased it to +4, to +5, to I believe 7 now. And the point is that they wanted you to be able to have a way to use crouching medium kick in the neutral, not just as an annoying poke, but to really confirm from it.
Right.
Because they did hear that some Nash players were like, yo, he has no confirmable crouching MK, and his poke is pretty but really, like, they made that poke a damaging poke once Nash had V-Trigger, and it allows him to come back easily. And I think the biggest thing that I don't notice a lot of Nash players try to do, that I've also put tech on the channel for with the meaty Sonic Boom, right, is his Sonic Booms became more plus on block. Not Guile plus, but like on block and on hit, right? Like they reduced the negative frames, and on hit they became more plus on actual hits. So like you could meaty them, and you could make them to be as much as like +10. Yeah. He never used to have pressure like that before. Now you could do like on a block string, you could do like crouching fierce, stand jab, heavy boom. Obviously, you know, the opponent can challenge there, but sometimes they can't react or they're not ready for it, and they just kind of respect it. And the Sonic Boom at that range is like almost +4, +5 from on block alone because of the distance of the boom, and not many people do that. Also, EX Sonic Boom, they made both booms +2 now. It used to just be +2 and then +1, and Nash couldn't really do anything with that, right? He wasn't able to play throw game with that. Now he can. And I think that's a really good change. So, couple that with a lot of the undo and reverts that they did, like Standing Fierce, they reverted that. EX Sonic Scythe used to not have throw invincibility at all. and then they had to give it back. Yeah, it didn't used to have it until 2.5. 2.5, they had to give it back to him.
Interesting.
So they reverted it. They over-nerfed him.
Yeah.
So they had
big
to
time.
Really give,
for sure.
Yeah. So they had to give him stuff back.
Right.
So couple that with the reverts and the offensive fees, they've worked really hard to try and make Nash the vision that they wanted. But at the same time, there's still some things that need some improvement with the character.
Right. They're adding more combo routes with him too, with the V skill, and like you said with the crouching medium kick, they want Nash to like use his V trigger more, not just raw, just randomly use it, throw in an EX Sonic Boom from full screen and then using it. They want him to also use it with his normals too, and that's just something to help with his rush down that they want, right?
Exactly.
So there's just they're really focusing on making Nash this like offensive based character now, and not make him abuse with his mobility. So,
and another thing too, before I stop too as well, his V skill, right? Like they basically made his V skill plus as well for season 3, as well as giving him a target combo into V skill with season 2, but it wasn't used as much. But the point is that they wanted him to also integrate his V skill as well to make him have better like V meter gain for his V triggers.
I think Capcom's done an okay job making Nash more fun though, with the extra tools they've given him though. I think. Like, that's why the character is still in the mid-tier range to begin with, because he actually does have some utility, right? He's just missing some big flaws.
He's not completely like a bad character, but his defense and some ambiguity in the neutral is kind of like the biggest like issues with him.
Yeah.
Along with the mobility, obviously. So, those are some of the main issues.
So, with that being said, Sonic, let's now talk about what we want from Nash from Season 4. Of course, we're going to try to be reasonable here, but I think we mostly want buffs for Nash. There's nothing in particular that I think that needs to be nerfed right now. He's still not quite where he was in Season 1, but going by the direction that Capcom's trying to take him, make him the offensive-based character between him and Guile, I think the very first thing they should do, since specifically Guile has a 4-frame normal, I think it's only fair that Nash gets a 3-framer. I think that's a big thing that Capcom should do. Give Nash that 3-frame normal. It'll help him defensively and offensively.
I definitely agree.
If we did give Nash that 3-framer though, which normal would it be, Sonic? Crouching light punch
jab free,
or standing light kick?
Crouching jab free. Crouching jab free. The reason why I say that, 2 things. First, obviously on defense, if you're holding down back, crouching jab is the first thing that you could press, and it's also hit confirmable. So the thing about it is that since crouching jab, you could go in
it's got pretty good range though, Sonic. I don't know, man.
So?
It's got like standing light punch Akuma range.
So?
Okay, what is light kick used for? Tell me what light kick is used for.
So standing light kick is actually +3 on block, which is
is
the
it?
Reason why that's why I don't want that move to have a.
I mean, obviously they'll adjust it accordingly, like they did with like Bison's light kick.
They would nerf it, and that's one of the only ways he could get like a tick throw next to crouching jab. So why would you want to nerf standing light kick to make it faster, but not be able to play throw game with it, which is essentially what you're doing with most of the buffs that you gave Nash.
Yeah,
is to give him the ability to play throw game and be offensive, right? Yeah. So it's like to remove that advantage from standing light kick, which by the way, you have to walk forward before you throw them. You have to do a little micro walk to take advantage of the extra like 1 frame you have from the +3, right? Like that's pretty important, along with of course the pressure that you get. You can do standing light kick, crouching medium punch, etc. Right?
So a 3-framer would definitely help. Yes. What about, now we've talked about before about his mobility, right? You definitely want his mobility buffed, but we don't want to go back to Season 1 Nash, where you're backdashing constantly and playing him like a zoner. You want to use him, because, it would be too crazy, right, if we brought his backdash back up to speed, or he made his V-reversal even stronger, because then he's going to be flying all over the place, right? So how can we buff his mobility without making him back to Season 1 Nash?
Buff his walk speed. His walk speed is probably the one thing I would think of, because again, when I saw the patch notes for Season 2.5, it discussed how some Nash players felt very, very weird within the neutral because he didn't know what to do.
Right.
Not to mention on offense, it would be very important because then he could actually like micro walk throw you.
Yeah.
He would actually be able to shimmy you without having to like worry. Like for instance, in season 1, L.I. Joe used to do it a lot. He would do heavy kick, sonic side, double dash, walk back, and shimmy. Right. But in this case, he can't do that anymore. And the other thing too is that since they nerfed the distance between where Nash is and you are, they made it further. He wouldn't even be able to throw loop you with the increased walk speed anyway.
Right.
So I'm not saying to give him Cammy walk speed, but you buffed Bison's walk speed.
That's true. They did. They did buff his walk speed.
So why can't you do this for Nash, especially since you want him to be a more offensive character?
Yeah.
And in the neutral, it would be very important because now he could actually walk through ranges and use V-Trigger 2 a little more, effectively.
And speaking of that, Sonic, I think we should talk about our last big thing that we won is the V-Triggers. Should be improved, specifically V-Trigger 2, which is just completely missing from the table here.
Okay. So I want to talk about V-Trigger 1 before I talk about V-Trigger 2 a little bit, because V-Trigger 1 is only one real change that I want for it. And there's a tricky little thing that happens with V-Trigger 1 when you use the grounded version, right?
Yeah.
So they made it both projectile and throw invincible frames 1 through 3, right? Why am I getting thrown out of my V-Trigger even though it's supposed to be frames 1 through 3?
You just gotta press the buttons faster, man. You're pressing them too slow.
I know, right? I'm getting thrown even though I clearly see Nash go behind the opponent.
You're supposed to take the throw anyway, Sonic. Why are you complaining?
But it's throw invincible, Vesper. That's the point.
I don't know. What do you want me to say, bro?
Thrown out?
I don't make this game.
Look, it's because people are delay teching or like trying to delay their throw. And because of that, when I get the reaction for when they press throw and I press V-Trigger, I'm still getting thrown out of it. I'm getting thrown out of my V-Trigger.
Okay, so make V-Trigger 1 do what it says. What about V-Trigger 2, Sonic? What about V-Trigger 2, bro?
Oh my god. So, for V-Trigger 2, there's so many things. So first of all...
Try to summarize it, Sonic.
Okay, first activation, V-Trigger 2 is fine, alright? You have a lot of options with V-Trigger 2 on first activation. However, after first activation, there's not enough frame advantage that you get. If you cancel from any of your normals into the dash from V-Trigger 2 on block, you're negative. Also, you have to spend meter to make the V-Trigger 2 like viable after first activation. Like you have to do crouching heavy punch, crouching medium punch, EX boom, then you could V-Trigger dash, right? And that's the only time where it's really useful. Every other time it's like you have to hit confirm it. You have to take risk with it. And then couple the fact that, it's supposed to also be projectile invincible, right? For a lot of things. But you clearly will use V-Trigger 1 more because that's projectile invincible on the first 3 frames. True. And you switch sides. So let's say you're being cornered. Now you put them in the corner, right? And it just, there's not as much utility with V-Trigger 2, especially after first activation. And it doesn't really achieve the same rewards as V-Trigger 1. And on top of that, they nerfed it. They nerfed the overhead, the justice corridor, so it no longer autocorrects. So
it's cheap, man. It hits overhead. You gotta block off for that.
It's -8. And when you cancel into the dash from it, you lose your turn.
Hey,
what?
Man.
Oh my god.
You gotta keep this game balanced, Sonic, okay?
Look.
Akuma's forward hard punch is not even an overhead. Like, come on, man.
You can't even convert crouching medium kick into the flash kick follow-up.
Oh, really?
After first activation, it's not a true string.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So it's just, why?
Oh, Sonic. I really look forward to those Season 4 patch notes, man. I really look forward to it. Sonic, you should bless us with a video that compares both V-Trigger someday, hey?
I get that constantly at my school now. That's a running joke to compare V-Trigger 1 and V-Trigger 2. Which one is better, right?
You should elaborate on that so then everyone can know exactly what you're talking about here.
Yeah. I will definitely do that.
I look forward
Expect that.
Okay, guys, let us know in the comments below what you guys think of Nash right now, and if you think he needs further tuning, more buffs, and what would you guys add to the character to make him more fun and more competitive in tournaments? Let us know in the comments below. Guys, do us a solid. Please subscribe to the channel, and Sonic, hit that dang bell icon. And also be sure to like the video. It really helps out. And Sonic, thanks a lot for joining me with this, man. Hopefully we can cover some more characters in the future.
Oh yeah, no problem. Anytime, man. Anytime.
Okay,
For
guys.
the Vesper Dojo.
Yeah, the Vesper Dojo. Okay, guys. Take care.
Take care, guys.